We gotta find. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue.
Hey everybody, what's going on tonight? Oh, man, I am myself a little sore. Started going to the gym again, and it's been tiring, we'll say. But this video or this stream's going to be a little bit shorter than I wanted it to be. I was going through my my documents where I've highlighted and crossed out some things, and it looks like the Third Amendment I nuked somehow. So I'm missing all of the stuff that was blocking out names and different things like that. So we're going to go through the Second Amendment and some of the other things after the Second Amendment before we go into the third. The third, it's fine anyways, because that's probably going to be a little bit longer section as she goes into a lot of the actors and other things inside the community. You know, 8-Bit Eric and Nobody and all those guys. So let's get this party started. Yeah. Boom. So this one we're starting off. I went ahead and skipped a lot of the extra stuff that we went through. If you missed out on the last stream or the last, haven't watched it up to this point, pretty much ALyssa McConte is claiming, Smash JT has been harassing her. In the first video, he gave a lot of points on, or she gave a lot of points, excuse me, her lawyer gave a lot of points uh, on the different types of harassment and things like that, into like Smash JT's character and how he's a liar, and different things to try and make a just trying to paint him in that light that they're going to with this thing. So after the first pre-motion was put in by Smash's lawyer, Ron Coleman, they replied to it. Here, we'll take a look at some of this. So first one comes in, all this normal court document stuff, and then we get to, where is it? Extensions. We get to the first letter pre-motion from Jeff. Then that's ordered. They do their response, and then the order is denied. From my understanding, these pre-motions are pretty much it's pretty hard to get something thrown out in a pre-motion because it's just the judge making a call on it. The official motion has been put in, which I can't see as of yet. I can only see the initial letter for it. So maybe it'll be, I know there's something about a bundle. I don't really understand a lot of that, being not a lawyer myself. But then we come to the scheduling order, when everyone has to turn in stuff by. And then this is what we're reviewing today, is the April 18th, the First Amendment, where they added in examples of harassment, and then she's gonna bring up jurisdiction, because that's one of the things that they're arguing over, is New York the proper jurisdiction for this, right? Jeff himself, or Smash, we'll call him Smash from now on, is in California. ALyssa is in New York. A lot of the companies and stuff like that are in New York. We'll kind of go over some of that. Let's go up here. I think it's up here. Oh, no, it's in the jurisdiction area. So the first thing they say is jurisdiction in this case is based upon federal diversity under this particular statute. So let's bring up that statute. As you can tell, I was logging. I need to run out to the store real quick. Did you need me to pick something up for you? Yeah, gummy bears. I love gummy bears. So pick me up a pack of gummy bears and bring it back. Of course, if I pick it up, I'll have to ship it to you. Probably. So 28 USC 1332 governs diversity jurisdiction in federal court, allowing them to hear civil cases when the parties are citizens of different states or citizens of a foreign national, provided the amount and courtesy exceeds 75,000. So I've seen the 75,000 thrown around before. It's kind of the minimum, I guess, that ALyssa has put in for damages. also based off of the predicted income of Smash JT. So that's what they're saying. Hey, it's over $75,000, so we can do it wherever the hell we want, or at least in the state of the person that's there. I can be honest with you. I don't know much about the jurisdiction, so I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go on jurisdiction. To me, if if this isn't correct in some way, then the whole case could fall apart for ALyssa. But like I said, I don't know. I don't know how important this is to anything. So the plaintiff is in New York. The defendant is in California. Then she kind of goes into the End Kotaku campaign is on smashjd.com, and the website is hosted in New York. Boop, right there. In which he conducts business. So they're saying he conducts business, he gets money from New York, it should be in New York. Then further down, they start to go into he's directed his activities towards New York because Kotaku and other places are based in New York. Some of his friends, which they get into here, Hypnotic, they think is located in New York based off of some box openings that he did. So that's interesting. So the F or VNY5 is located at 90 Rule Road, Melvinville, New York warehouse, and the other one is in New York as well. Therefore, it's all based in New York. And then she has the unboxing videos. Boom, boom, boom. Tarzi has other associates in New York who amplify his targeted harassment content, including Toasty with the Mosty. Oh, this is the stuff. Oh, man. Okay. I missed on that, so that's on me. We'll hide that right there. Mercante is a frequent topic on these streams. And then his, the Kotaku stuff, where he wants to hold people accountable for having their own opinion. I want to end Kotaku. Hashtag end Kotaku. It's a popular video game. I said a lot of the district stuff and a lot of this is, similar to what we had last time. Not a lot changed on those particular sites. So I'm going to kind of skip through this to the new stuff. Oh. And this is some of the new stuff here. So I remember her talking about, getting threatening emails and stuff like that. And then they start getting into Smash's Discord. All right. So Smash posts on his Discord under the name Smash JT with his profile pics as the logo he uses on his channel. And this is them showing that. I don't know why they showed once I'm so far away, or this is his first post, I guess, 2018. On information and belief, only people with a paid subscription to the Smash JT channel are available to access Smash's Discord. Hold on one second. There we go. Jeff's fans and followers frequently discuss Mercante and the Smash JT Discord, including their plans to bully, harass, and sick the trolls on her. And then these are some kind of crazy. Yes, bullying is good. We bully bad people like ALyssa Mercante. That's unhinged. Now, I will say this on seeing these. Was there any retaliation on this? I would guess not, but that is a question that I hope to see in Discovery when we get there. Does ALyssa have a Discord? We can sick the trolls on her. Absolutely freak behavior. Don't fucking do this shit. Tarzani fans openly discuss their plans to target and harass members of Mercante's family. We need to search the archives for the marriage certificate for ALyssa's failed marriage and find that dude. It's fucking, like I said, absolutely brain dead. If this is happening inside his Discord. I wonder what the green is. Maybe I should go look at the Discord and see what the green is at some point. Tarzia acknowledges that his targeted harassment is very profitable. When one of his followers told him, Mercante is like a content mind. And then he said, tomorrow, Mercante is like a content mind. They have to legally explain it because the judge probably has no idea what the 100% or the 100 symbol means. Smash has made it clear he approves and endorses the harassment his subscribers undertake in his name. At Smash JT, in deference to you and your situation, I will lay off of Mercante jokes for the foreseeable future. Sounds good to you? And then he said, LOL, I honestly don't give a fuck. Care. Oh, I honestly don't care. Fuck her. So this is. I'm hoping there's more examples than this, just this, because this is a little light for me. Because what is he talking about? Jokes. Then we get back into the horrification. God, this is going to be a horrendously short stream. I might have to cut this out and put it in, like, do a super cut of the videos that I have. So like I said, I don't want to put out the other document with names and stuff, even though I may have accidentally here, but I can cut that out in post. Where were we here? This is about the tweets, 100 tweets, more than 90 videos. At my count, it's like 110 right now. And I know he just did another video watching Nobody's video on ALyssa Mercante. So we'll get to that, though, in the next video. This is where he was doxxed. Okay, so with this doxing thing, let's see. Open a new window.
I feel like this channel's turned into, instead of saying...
Shut up. Is it here? I'll have to go find what I have on it. Nope, not here. So, I was able to get some information that I had before. Boom, boom, boom. Bear with me.
This got shared.
There we go. Ooh, it got pulled. Where was it? Did I lose it? Bear with me, I'm losing my mind here. Ah, here it is. Here it is. So, you know, ALyssa Mercante's information got put on Kiwi Farms, and I guess shortly after that point, she had sent the cease and desist letter, which Smash JT fucking mocked, right? Didn't take it seriously. Now she's suing him. I want to take notice here. This, boop, boop, boop. Let's pull that up so everyone can see. In a move that has seemingly the entire gaming community shaking their collective heads, that's only the anti-wokers, ALyssa Mercante has officially sent a cease and desist letter in an attempt to curb the activities of Kiwi Farms. Or this was the one to Kiwi Farms, right? Yeah. Does he actually show it? No. Either way, she was trying to get rid of the Kiwi Farms thread. How deep does this go? I assure you, you cannot prepare yourself enough. Here is the Kiwi Farms official thread on the matter. And they also continue a deep dive locale thread on her here. So not only, has he spread the fact openly that her dox is out there, because we've seen it in tweets. We saw it from tweets earlier where Will of the Fans, old Dum Dum himself, posted her docs openly on X. Smash has made videos where he talked about her docs on Kiwi Farms. And then he put the thread into his .com edition so everyone could go find it. This is where I start calling Smash a serial fucking doxer. While he's not the one that actually docs the information, he is more than willing to spread people's personal information to get shit, to silence people that he doesn't like, right? Or to cause problems. Like this is him knowingly spreading the harassment. He's admitted to it on his own for those takes. This isn't something he isn't aware of what's happening. He's openly spreading it to everyone. And in fact, he even brings up Kiwi Farms on these screens. And listen, Smash is accessory if you don't know what I mean. If you know what I mean, yeah. And here's my thing, like, okay, I don't like the doxing on Kiwi Farms. Like, I can have a problem with that, but in general, I am not against Kiwi Farms. Most of the information they put out there is public information, so it falls under free speech. I use Kiwi Farms. I will use Kiwi Farms in the future. I will just not pull up Kiwi Farms on thread for risk of, many different reasons. But I might go find information there. They usually have linked sources, so I can go to those linked sources and decide what's real and what's not. I did it with Chibi Reviews, but I didn't bring up, his farms thread. And some of the stuff in his farms thread was pretty, I don't know, didn't have a lot of evidence. So I only took what I had evidence for and ran with that. Boom, boom, boom. Let's not do that. So this is Smash clearly going over and doxing, or, spreading around ALyssa's docs because he knows it's going to cause problems, right? And then all of his friends, like we see Nobody here. We'll see Nobody and some of the other guys in there that were in this video. I already deleted it. Kiwi Farms exposes ALyssa McConte's hypocrisy. There he is, right there. Nobody. This guy is always on Melissa Mercante. Toasty is no longer with us here on YouTube. I don't know what caused it. Hers, I really don't know the cause of it. But the way it's been going with these anti-wokers and the videos that I'm watching, it's pretty clear that they've done something that goes against TOS. Yeah, I agree that free speech should be a thing, but at the same time, you have to follow the rules. So, yeah, and this is what she's talking about, which I think is where this gets closer and closer to harassment. The next document, which I'm not going to be able to bring up today, makes that even more clear when you look at all of these people that are in the circle, right? Nobody. A good example is what just recently happened. Nobody made a video on ALyssa bringing up a old article of her talking positively about BioShock, where a new comment today that says the BioShock series is known for not being for saying nothing. I'll have to watch it on stream, but it's kind of a nothing burger. Like it's a change in opinion. But either way, Smash still pulled it up. So it's just kind of no matter what. If a shitter makes a video on ALyssa, Smash is going to watch it. If Smash makes a video on ALyssa, all of the shitters are going to watch it. And that's including their own videos and their own audience. And Smash is already pretty much he doesn't flat out directly encourage, but when he does quote unquote uh, discourage this and say you shouldn't go harass people, it's very non-apologetic. It's very consequences for your actions, fucking bullshit, right? SJW cancel culture bullshit. And this is, oh, maybe it was here. I guess she adds in. Yeah. So anyway, that's where we get to the followers. I was already bringing it up. How about that? It's like I know what's going on. I'm pre-talking myself. So Smash's followers echo what he says. They create their own set of videos amplifying what he says, stoking harassment, rape, death threats, and the like. If Jeff makes a claim, the claim will reappear substantially unchanged downstream of him in one of the videos, amplifying and continuing his harassment. I mean, I've been saying that for a long time too with these guys. Like, it is a lot of these people are like the least creative people I've ever met. Most of them are hanging onto the coattails of Smash JT, and most of that being through fucking ALyssa's downfall, as they would like to say. It does not appear that any of Jeff's downstream commentators edit or verify his claims. I wouldn't expect them to because, low IQ. The downstream claims will often contain the same minor mistakes and error in words that Jeff claims contains. So yeah, they're just basically mouthpieces for Jeff. And then Jeff is mouthpieces for them. And it just kind of, it's a circle, right? Now, their claim is all of this is Jeff's intent and by Jeff's design. And I don't know if this statement can be 100% true, but this is how they're trying to paint him for the court case. This ecosystem would not exist without him. That I agree with, at least on the ALyssa Mercante side. This ecosystem leads to rape, death threats, unlawful harassment. That we've already seen. If you've looked at any of the documents or any of her evidence documents, some of them definitely fall under serious threats and aren't protected by free speech. Prominent inhabitants of Smash's ecosystem include Brooklyn, New York based Toasty with the Mosty. Then we've got Rev says Desu is one of the weird ones, right? Like, I don't know that I've seen them interact that much. Really? Really? I did that again? I am high speed on this. So anyway, let's try this again. Yep, I'm going to cut down this video and cut out all of my muted takes. So Smash followers echo what he says. Smash being such a liability to everyone is so funny. Yeah, it's getting to be that point. Like, he is gasoline that's waiting to be lit under the fire of a lot of these content creators. It's like, how far does it go until it's considered negligence or just like gross negligence? Like, is there an argument for that? That he's aware of the harassment happening, and he's aware that when he makes a video on her little tweets, that it's going to bring more harassment to her, like beyond necessary. And then all of his people will spread it, and they'll start videos that'll spread up to him. Like, when does it cross that line of being no longer free speech and criticism into harassment? And it's I think Smash has crossed that line. If Jeff makes a claim, that claim will reappear substantially unchanged downstream of him in one of the videos, amplifying and continuing the harassment. It does not appear that any of Smash's downstream competitors edit or verify his claims. The downstream claims will often contain the same minor mistakes and errors in wording that Smash claims to contain. And this is what I'm going, like, all of these dudes are absolutely fucking uncreative in their takes and talking about their information. Like, if I'm gonna watch somebody's video on it, I don't want to just sit there and suck off the guy who's writing it, right? I want something that's going to be that I can question, that I can argue against, anything like that. Like, if anyone I know makes a video and they want me to watch it, just know that I'm going to criticize where I feel the criticism is needed. And none of these guys do that. They don't look it up. They don't do anything like that. They just sit in their little hug boxes, crying how one woman is bothering all of them. And then here they go talking, or their intention, or ALyssa's intention in the courts. YouTube notifications has failed me. Hey, I'm sorry, Damage Sector. I did set up the stream super early. I don't know why I wouldn't have sent it out when I went live though. This claim, I can't say if it's true or not. Sometimes I think Smash is just absolutely incompetent. I might start a little segment on my channel where the first thing we go into is some kind of claim that an anti-woker is made, like the claim I made Smash made today on his channel, where he claimed that Square Enix had lost 75% of its revenue from last quarter, which is absolutely not fucking true. And I might start putting it on here as a little segment, when I do something on X, do something on here as well, just to kind of show how bad these people are at doing any kind of research. But they're trying to paint him as absolutely in design, knowing what he's talking about, knowing what he's doing. Personally, I think, not being a lawyer, at the very least, I feel like it's gross negligence of what's actually happening. And he's at least, while not encouraging it directly, he does encourage it indirectly with some of his comments and his posts and different things like that. Now, this is true. This ecosystem would not exist without Smash JT, at least on the ALyssa Mercante hate train side. Like, a lot of the guys, like 8-Bit Eric, I think that's the only thing he is propped up by, because that's the only thing I ever see him talking about is ALyssa Mercante this, ALyssa Mercante that. He goes and finds one of her pictures where she's taking a picture of her ass, and then he just makes video after video, or not video after video, post after post, tries to bait her into fighting him. And sometimes she digs into it, which is a flaw in her, I'll say. She needs to stop reciprocating just as much as they need to stop searching on her tweets. But I'm going to do a little digging over the course of the next few weeks, because I want to go through and see what the anti-woke are saying is harassment. Because it's constantly said that, well, ALyssa harasses us too, so it's an eye for an eye situation, which I think is a bullshit accusation entirely. Like, that's great. That's stuff I tell my kids. Like, well, he hit me first. Well, I don't give a fuck who hit the person first. What are your actions that we're talking about right now? And then we go into his different, some of his different people. There's definitely more than this. We got Toasty with the Mosty, who is no longer with us on YouTube. Rev says Desu. I don't know where he comes into play. I know he's done videos with Smash JT, like in them, as in he's watched Smash JT videos or used them in his YouTube videos. but I haven't seen him. I don't know if I would consider him like one of the people propped up. To me, I've always seen him as a guy who tries to make a video that Asmongold will watch, right? That's his whole career. And apparently, Lolly Defense. And then a Big Eric. And I want to say, if Atreus isn't in this one, he's in one of the other ones. Uh, she's calling it mole weaseling in here, which is a word I've never heard of. A decoy entry in reference work, such as a dictionary or encyclopedia, secretly planted among genuine entries to catch the publisher in the act of copying content. I don't know that I think that follows. Secretly planted among genuine entries. Like I don't know that this would fall into what's going on with them. I think they're spreading his dog shit messages to more and more people, right? And those people that are spreading it to, like 8-Bit Eric, Toasty with the Mosty, which I have to watch her videos, but I know she does. She was watching Smash stuff. Nobody at this point, and others. What are you using to save highlights and markup on PDF? I use it's available in Edge. You can do all of that in Edge and save it, and it'll save a link for you so that you can come back to it. Now, like I was saying in the beginning of this, this is going to be a shorter stream because I nuked one of my documents that had a lot of these names X'd out from the third entry, which is where they add in nobody. And that one's going to be longer anyway because nobody did a response video, and I want to go over that response video because I did ask him some questions. He said they were in the response video. I've watched it, but I want to give my takes live in public, right? If you grow enough on YouTube, you might become Smash's next obsession like Pat and Ian did. Maybe I don't know that I'll ever grow that much, but I'm going to keep talking about their dog shit comments and their dog shit takes until they stop making them, I guess. Until they have better takes. Now, I don't want that to be an admission that I'm doing what Smash is doing with hashtag in Kotaku. I don't want Smash to lose his channel or his income. I don't want him deplatformed. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not like a lot of the lefties who may say, deplatform him. We don't want him on YouTube. It's harmful. I don't care about all that. He can say all the dog shit he wants, but that's fine. I'm going to actually criticize him. Something he could learn to do on this fucking channel, on his channel. So these are the people that are downwind. They talk about the same shit that he does. They don't even talk about the same shit that he does. They just repeat what he does. It's just a copy and paste. If you've watched Smash JT's fucking videos, then you've already watched 8-Bit Eric's opinion, right? It's his opinion is whatever Smash JT said on ALyssa. So there's really there's no pushback. There's no, well, hey, Smash, this shit ain't right. There's no looking deeper into it. It's just, here's the point. Everybody point and laugh. Which is fine. I don't mind fucking making fun of people. I don't mind calling people names. I don't mind all of that shit. You can do that while you're doing it. But if you're gonna react to a video that someone makes, then you need to do more than just sucking them off. You need to actually look at the information, double check it to see if it's correct. And if it's not, you should be calling that out. Not living in your fucking hug box, believing everything that Smash JT says or any of these fucking dudes say as gospel. Because I found it's fairly easy to go just below the surface and find out how bullshit a lot of these takes are. And then we've got examples of mole weaseling are March 14th, 2025 video entitled ALyssa Mercante Will Not Stop. Stream from March So this is kind of the videos. Uh, ALyssa Mercante wants to be Smash JT's editor, which is the title of it. In Smash's case, I don't think he's enough of a problem for him to be deplatformed, unlike people like Kirsch, Hassan, Asmongold. So here's going to be my hot take. I don't think any of those people should be deplatformed, even for the ridiculous stuff they say. And that includes Hassan. As much as people, I got timed out on Twitter, we'll say, for a day, arguing with people about Hassan. Smash is just annoying ass retard. Yeah, agreed. Uh, Arguing that Hassan's takes and what Hassan has said, while absolutely batshit crazy, still falls under free speech. So on that level, it doesn't bother me. You can make the argument about Twitch's TOS, but companies have a right to run their business the way they want to. So I don't. My problem is the ADL has come into that situation, and I just refuse to be on the side of any company or anybody who is positive towards the ADL. They absolutely do not want to just deplatform Hassan. They want to change legislation so that everyone on the internet suffers from it and can do less free speech. And I mean, that even goes for Asmongold and his retarded takes. Watching Asmongold try and talk about politics and watching his brain just turn to mush is I mean, it's hilarious to watch. You and I have different views on free speech. We probably do massively. I follow pretty closely to what is currently litigated in our free speech currently. Now, I have some arguments, like I think there is a discussion for free speech in giant platforms like YouTube, but my discussion would probably be more into the open side of it versus you probably would, like to see some of these people go. Trust me, I'm farther to the right than a lot of y'all think, even though I'm out here defending white knighting for ALyssa Mercante. So anyway, you can see the videos where they just copy, seething over YouTubers roasting her. She's spiraling. This one's a copy and paste of Smash JT's fucking video. I think his video was ALyssa Mercante wants to be my editor, and all he did was change it to Smash JT's name. I don't remember which person did this. I'm not going to uncover it because I don't know that their names, because in my opinions, hate speech and promoting terror groups is a little much. The problem I have with the lines of hate speech is where do you define the line of hate speech, right? Because there's been widely different things used for it. As for promoting terrorist groups, while Hassan soyed out on that kid that was in there, there are people who talk, there are reporters who talk to terrorists all the fucking time. They go in and do interviews with them, and those interviews aren't necessarily in a negative light, right? It would be hard pressed for them to get another interview if it happened. I believe in free speech from a government perspective, but I'm fine with bans for clear TOS violations. Same way, I don't have to let people say stuff I don't like in my house. Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's where it gets it with me, is YouTube is absolutely allowed to decide who they want. Twitch is absolutely allowed to decide. If they want to be a fucking lefty platform and they want to kick all of the righties off, that's their prerogative, right? I don't know the litigation behind TOS. I think if you have a TOS, you should stick to it. Otherwise, you end up with a reputation like Twitch has now. But back to the other thing, like I said, I don't think his video or his stream where he's talking with that Hamas guy it's not propaganda posting him up. The shit in Kirsch and Asmongold pushes in my book books is where the line should be drawn regarding free speech. The shit in Asmongold pushes in my books. Yeah, some shit don't apply to 2S fairly, and it's BS. Agreed. What did you mean by that, Simon? Are you talking about where they're talking? Oh, where like you're getting like hate raids that are review bombing your book essentially? Yeah. See, review bombing and things like that. Those they're not a part of free speech, right? And I've stated how Kirsch went to she clearly did a call to action to have people go review bomb the game that dropped her, which to me isn't an act of free speech. It's actually trying to uh, block the company's ability, to say that they don't want to work with her. It's not a constitutional right that businesses have to be able to refuse business, but it still is like a right they have. Oh, not what you're saying? Okay, that's fair enough. The shit. Do you have a book on Kirsch and Asmongold? Let me try and reword it. That's fine. I'm a dum dum sometimes. Comprehension level like below 60 IQ. All right. And then this is more caught destroying evidence of her lawsuit, which I don't remember if I talked about this one last time, but there is who was it? Hypnotic did a video where he pretty much said that she was deleting videos, but it's not really that clear because they're just using Social Blade. And I don't know entirely how accurate Social Blade is on that. I've used it to look at trends for a lot of the anti-wokers where I can see their growth dropping and things like that. But I don't hold that as the only thing I looked at. I also went to their channel and looked at views versus subscribers versus, what things I can't see. Like I'd like to see the watch times they have on their videos, but they'll never show that because that's probably the most important thing. More videos, deleting evidence, caught deleting evidence. We're on 3, 4 videos about the same thing. And then this is talking about ALyssa Mercante deleted anything. The claim that ALyssa deleted anything grew out of, it was Smash's disingenuous presentation of some data he found. Mercante didn't delete anything. Rather, after the 2024 presidential election, a large number of people deleted their Twitter accounts. And the 30 days later, the accounts deletions became permanent and their tweets went away. When that happened, Mercante's own retweets of those tweets also disappeared. And public data sources which track the total number of tweets from a given account, this appears to be a substantial drop in total tweet count for Mercante. And virtually everyone else a user cared to look up. It's funny, they did look up. And no, I don't have any books on them. I've seen your fantasy writing. I haven't purchased one of your books yet, but I've thought about it. I'm trying to get through the Hyperion series. I've been a little addicted to Dune since Dune Awakening came out. You're in my reading list. I'm going to test that claim. Yeah, definitely do it. Because this one, it's not one that I went and tested. I do know that when watching the video, they also pulled up the lady from, what's her name? The lady from Sweet Baby Inc. and said that she had tweets that she was deleting too. But I don't know how that works. So bring Damage Sector, if you whenever you get done with that, send it my way. Kim Blair, that's her name. I mean, Simon, I look at the book cover and it looks a little weeb to me, which you've admitted to, but I'm more than willing to try it out. There's not a lot of, I haven't run into a lot of good new fantasy, so I've been trying to find something that I can enjoy. Boom, boom, boom. On January 11th, Smash published a video on Smash JT titled Adam Sessler Thinks Mercante is Too Crazy. Within hours, another content creator They don't even like the titles aren't even fucking creative with these guys, right? Just have one book so far. Okay, then what I was looking at was just the first book, and you're okay. Anybody who's in here, go check out Simon's book. What was the name of it? Hold on. We're gonna go into boop. Uh, while I'm looking it up, Adam Sessler thinks Alyssa Mercante is too crazy. And then the next video that comes out, just tested my alt account. Reposts do count towards your post count. I don't think it did, but there you go. Well, hey, if that's the case, then it's very plausible that it was uh, that way. Well, it is very weeb because it is written in an anime genre. That's fine. Someone tried to get me into the I forget what it's called now because there's so many different types of genres of Blood Watch is the title. Everyone in here, go check out Blood Watch. Blood Winch, Blood Winch, and send me a title to it. I'll put it in the. Saved you some trouble. You saved me nothing. I'm still gonna get off topic. But like there's no creativity in any of these motherfuckers. It's just copy paste, add a few extra words, send out video. Even more recently, on March 12th, Smash published a video to the Smash JT channel titled "Alyssa Mercante now wants to be my editor," and then Alyssa Mercante wants to be Smash JT's editor. There's only one word difference in that, right? Like one word of fucking difference. And then, of course, they added, oh, we're also going to talk about this stuff. Veilguard's PlayStation Plus launch flops. Which I don't know how they came to that determination. This is the kind of stuff that I want to look into a little bit when I can. You probably can't look into their PlayStation Plus launch, though. To date, Mercante has received more than 1,000 death threats, rape, and vicious threats and harassment. Those threats include the following, which characterize what I've received. We won't go into reading them. These are pretty mild, the typical Minecraft yourself or uh, things like that. There are worse ones in the thing, like dick pics claiming that they're going to rape her, which those are 100% illegal under our current law. Like that becomes a serious threat at that point, and you can't just send unsolicited dick pics to people. sorry guys. uh Anyways, gonna jump off the stream. Might join later once I get home if you're still on. All right, appreciate it, Simon. We'll see you later if I'm still on. Like I said, this one might be short. The only substantive relief from Smash's harassment came for a period of approximately 3 weeks in September 2024, where he briefly ceased publishing videos about Mercante after she sent him a cease and desist letter. So I'm wondering if there was like a little bit of a fear into it when that happened, where he was like, okay, maybe I need to back off a little bit, and then he decided to go full tilt into her, since he's made just as many videos in the last couple of months since the lawsuit started than he's made the last year on her channel, or on the last year on his channel about her. This pattern is also observed with Smash's other targets, as described below, more fully below. When Jeff targets Mercante's counsel, a law firm received a substantial number of threatening, harassing communications immediately. So that's a good sign. It's like they immediately go looking for it. This is the images one. I think there's some agreements in some of the photos where there's like more of her ass showing and things like that. I don't think necessarily that using someone in your thumbnail has any kind of relevance. I think it comes under fair use as long as you're not using like an exact one-to-one of their thumbnail. And making people look, hideous or anything like that on a video is definitely fine in my book, right? Certain activists. We've already seen all of this as the harassment goes on. We've seen Tarzini's, Zenians, however you pronounce his name, smashes how he lies and misrepresents. There's a chance that Smash was going to stop making ALyssa videos, but his retarded friends convinced him she wasn't going to sue. That's probably true. I absolutely believe that. And I think if that's the truth, his friends may have failed him, because if this lawsuit does go through, it's going to be it's going to be pretty bad. Like it's not going to be a small fun, I don't think. Like I would like to see more on how this is going to be judged. This one was very interesting to me, this next section. So, as you know, Smash JT has brought on Ron Coleman several times and talked about the ALyssa Mercante's case. So, in the Second Amendment, ALyssa's lawyer brings up the fact that, oh no, this is conceding to a public figure. But the next portion is he's given up his attorney-client privilege, which if that goes through and we get to see all the text messages that, or all the communications that Ron and Smash have had, that would be very interesting. But here they talk about, while ordinary prudence would caution a litigant and his counsel not to speak publicly regarding ongoing cases, Tarzani and his counsel, Ron D. Coleman, have no qualms about multiple length public streams in the case litigation strategy and other privileged material. Now, for me, in Army speak, like dumb Army grunt, you don't talk about your plans, right? You don't go on a stream and tell your enemy your plans. I had an incident one time where we were doing kind of a little small force on force. One I was a cavalry scout. One unit was out in the woods, and then my or one squad, we'll say one section is what it would be called, was out in the woods on a screen line. The other section was, or my section was going out to find them, and we're out there doing what, checking our areas, doing our little route reconnaissance, and one of the guys in our truck said, "Hey, so and so just posted his geolocation on what is it called? What's the photo one? God, my memory. Snapchat. Just posted his geolocation on Snapchat." So we took that geolocation, plotted coordinates to it. I mean, it was already coordinates, but we converted it into something that our mortars could read, and then called in the mortar strike on them, and pretty much won instantly without having to go search for them. So yeah, you probably shouldn't post important things about your case on here. But what this gets to is, while in stream, Coleman dismisses the idea that Mercante achieved the sort of notoriety, even within the game's journalist circles, that is typically required to be considered important enough to be a public figure. Coleman stated that the plaintiff here is not, even though she is an activist with respect to certain causes, she's not particularly prominent in that area. Video games journalism herself, Coleman admitted that Mercante's has not archived or achieved the sort of prominence required for her to be even a limited purpose public figure. Absent Smash's campaign of hatred, Mercante would be a video games journalist and not a controversial figure. I mean, the stuff she writes, I think, can be controversial and can be criticized, but that's not what Smash is doing. The statement that Mercante's is not particularly prominent binds Smash as much as it binds Coleman to the proposition that Mercante is not a public figure. This is, I think, another portion of the case, but the more I read about it, like, would she be considered a public figure? I don't know that I've personally on my side. I don't know that I ever heard of Alyssa McConte up until the Smash JT stuff. You know, games journalists I know from a non-legal level are not really considered public figures. They're considered like what you said here, a partial public figure on there. Because like how many journalists or how many people are writing for pieces for places and actually making names for themselves that are, I know this person for their piece. I'm sure in their circles, yes, but amongst the population, I don't think most people even look at the name of the person who wrote the piece, unless you're an absolute hater who wants to completely a-log all of these people. Furthermore, in a live stream dated, still a private citizen. Yeah, still a private citizen. And that's where it's going to come into things. So if it's found that she's not a public figure, that makes that defamation claim way easier because then she doesn't have to prove malice. She only has to prove damages. And I think it'd be a lot easier for her to prove damages than malice. Now, I still think the case is weak on the sucking dick claims, just because of the online community's what is it called? The online community's uh, normalization of sex work in general, right? Because people on OnlyFans suck dick. People on did I miss anything while I was at the store? No, it was just all the same stuff. Mostly just the the characters that are constantly making videos and how they're not even creative enough to make interesting titles for their videos. Did you bring my gummy bears? But uh, yeah, I think that's going to be the hardest thing to prove is that it is defamation. Now, we will go into this later because the videos up at the top. Oh, no, sorry. You are a failure, Vincent. Let's see if I can find that section. Grubs. So there's two videos that I was going through this and looking at that are no longer on Smash's channel. They've been deleted. They've been deleted and are no longer available. Let's see if it's not in here. But I have those videos. And I think we will watch them today. That'll be a good little pad out because some of it is very, very telling on, I think, the jokes that Smash says. We were already there. Let's go down a little further. Yep, yep, yep. All this is from the last one. Here we go. So the case to me gets weaker and weaker that she's a public figure on this, and that's going to help her out immensely with this campaign. I don't know if it'll help her on the harassment side. I would think so, but it'll definitely help on the defamation side. Smash and his counsel also discussed venue and choice of law with Jeff's counsel, explaining they summoned you to court for some reason. They summoned you to court in the Eastern District of New York and not, that is an interesting choice. Not a terrible one for us. Better for me than to say to you in California because I'm in New York and yeah, she was a nobody before all of this. I didn't know who she was. I don't think most people did until the anti-woke or specifically Smash started bringing her up every time they turned around. Kotaku has always been a hated venue amongst like the Gamergate style and amongst gamers and things like that for the type of pieces that were always written on there. But until Smash, I don't know that I ever saw someone actually say end their company. It's a nothing burger, but once tuned in on Smash stream and I had a N-word super chat up for so long. Oh no. And they wonder why they get they get hit. Like that's an easy hit for copyright or for TOS. It's you've got to, if you're going to be like, I know commentary guys that are very visceral. A lot of the commentary guys I watch are very visceral. They make fun of people. They make thumbnails that are very unflattering. If you know, you know, so it was like disguise using numbers, but still. Well, see, and a lot of those number disguises still don't fall under TOS. Like I said, in the commentary community, if you see someone do something like that with numbers, they generally will take it down and ban the person. And you're talking about people who will make fun of anybody or who will call people names and, you know, don't care about slurs and things like that. But they know under YouTube's rules, they remind me, uh, you know, they follow them because they understand YouTube has a TOS. We have to follow YouTube's rules, you know. And I think Smash is, he's hurting his own business by doing what he's doing. This case isn't good for his business, even if he is milking all of his fans to pay for his case, right? And if this goes badly, it could completely ruin his business. God, my allergies are getting to me. That's what happened the other week is my allergies got into my throat and I just couldn't talk right. Uh, and then Jeff's defense, we're being streamed. He explained, I mean, what we're doing is preparing a motion to dismiss the complaint. That I don't mind telling people. It's not a surprise, you know. Size, yes. This, I am sure, anticipates it. Moreover, there is no prejudice to you my revealing that, I wonder if that's a mistake on her, that we're filing a motion to complain, which is relatively aggressive way to respond to a complaint and subject that I'm particularly knowledge about because I wrote basically the textbook. This guy's huffing his own farts, and he might have. That may be the thing. Either judge, look at these, look at the case. They're not plausible either because there is no such thing as vampires, or they claim the light was red and they claim the light was green. That thing doesn't add up. Don't add up. But then what we say is, God, this guy's talking. Judge, now let's just take all the allegations that you decide are plausible. Here's why. Even if everything the plaintiff says true, you should dismiss the case, or part of the case anyway. That's telling. Schizo theory. Coleman might understand that it's not all going to get thrown out. I have a feeling in my bones, and this is again not a lawyer, that the defamation portion, what about werewolf cult leaders? Whew, that is a subject to get into. We'll have to ask Mama Max about how werewolf cult leaders can affect you. But my prediction is the defamation is probably, if anything's going to get thrown out, the defamation is, and possibly the scholastic terrorism part. But that I don't know, you know, how that would work. Like I said, weakest portion is going to be the defamation, in my opinion. During a later stream, he recounted, I talked to Ron for those that missed it, and he gave it a glance over and was like, yeah, there's that. They have nothing here. Like, hey, he's like, this is a made for the slap law. Like, this is why anti-slap laws exist. This is ridiculous, frivolous lawsuit like this. Like, in Ron's opinion, he felt like there was something greater at play here because he's like, this is not even a lawsuit. That's a weird statement, but I guess she's trying to say that Coleman's conspiratorial, like there's the Illuminati or the lefty cults are coming for them. A few days later, Smash again discussed the attorney's advice, this time recounting that that's exactly what Ron said to me. He's like, yeah, This, all things being equal, this is the case as it is, made for slap suit. So yeah, he's just basically, he's saying, yeah, we're going to run a slap on it. But even Ron says it might only have partially thrown out. And with the way Ron has responded in the pre-motions, I think he understands it's not going to all get thrown out. He's hoping to get it all thrown out under the defamation, but I think he sees that they're going to have to go to court for the other stuff involved, like the threats, the defamation. Defamation per se gets thrown out, but I don't think bias related to violence and intimidation, I'm not sure that one will get thrown out. And I definitely don't think intentional infliction of emotional distress is going to get thrown out, right? So tortious interference with a contract, I don't think is going to get thrown out either. If Kotaku was suing Smash, then I think anti-slap would work. But ALyssa was let go. Well, yeah, and with like if you look at just even these two things going over them in the case before we even get to discovery, when we're going to see all of the evidence put out on display, and that should be fun for me to search through. I have to be careful at work when I'm going through the ALyssa files. This one I don't know about. Like I said, I don't like this idea of scholastic terrorism, but I don't know enough about it to completely discount it. You know what I mean? And tortoise with contract. It's pretty clear that she got fired because of Smash JT's harassment. And it probably wasn't just the one incident that she talked about that was like that was probably the straw that broke the camel's back. I will absolutely believe that she's been getting hate mail through Kotaku for years from Smash's audience, or for the last year anyway, through Smash's audience. So this is the amendment. They added this section in here based on the foregoing. ALyssa Mercantes asked that the court enter judgment in her favor, including but not limited to actual punitive damages in the amounts to be determined at trial, declaratory judgments on all causes, costs, any appropriate injunctive relief pursuant of, the New York law, attorney's fees pursuant of that, such other and further reliefs as the court may deem just and proper. And then the plaintiff requests a trial by jury on all claims and issues so triable. So a few things added into this one from the last one. Most of it is making the claims on jurisdiction, which was brought up by Ron Coleman. They kind of painted this like, oh, it was absolutely terrible, so she had to write an amendment. Well, no, not necessarily. I think an amendment is just something you do in there to clarify further, but the judge didn't tell them that they had to write an amendment for it, because if you look at what happened before, letter transmitted, that's the amendment. Where are you? Where are you? Motion of extension. Waiver of service. Waiver of service. Letter for pre-motion to get it dismissed. We read that one. They order the plaintiff to make a response. The plaintiff made a lettered response. We read that. And then the order was denied. So this, technically was in ALyssa's favor, even though, from my understanding, my limited understanding, it's pretty common for pre-motions to get dismissed. So she then made the amendment that she just read, adding in the jurisdictional stuff, adding in some of the characters around Smash JT that are propping up his videos and continuing to push what they call the harassment that's going on. And then there was a Second Amendment complaint. So we'll go into that next time. I don't have that available. but there is another pre-motion that comes in, so we'll probably read that after it comes. And I'm hoping soon that we'll get the full motion to dismiss, the actual motion to dismiss paperwork, though if you want to watch something on 1.75 speed at minimum, Smash does read out the motion to dismiss. I'm just not going to react to his reaction of it. I would rather read the document myself and then take a look at what he says. So I have watched it though. So now let's get into that thing where there was 2 videos that were missing. Boom, boom, boom. Come here. Excuse me. Are they in here? All right, we're just gonna have to do this. Gonna have to do this. Not prepared. Typical streamer stuff. Close that. Go here. What the fuck? Look at this retard that I just got sent to me. The left loves block lists and blocks, like sticking fingers in their ears. The right tends to frown on blocking unless provoked. Big difference. Guess who will have a more complete worldview? Guess who blocked me for mocking him in a letter? Mocking his letter is what it was. I understand things are hard. Everyone that I know around Grumps who gives him any criticism seems to be blocked. Anyway, that's that. Boom. Is it? Where is it? Where is it? Drive. Oh yeah, yeah. Boom, boom, boom. And get called woke by his audience like Packer Girl. I don't know Packer Girl. I mean, I've been called woke already, and I'm probably the farthest thing from woke. Oh, cool stuff, cool stuff. All right. So one of them I know for certain is in conjunction with them. The other one is kind of going over the Hassan stuff. Where is there you are?
A former sex worker.
Boom. And now let me get this up here for you. Hey, look who it is. What happens if I put him over here? Does that make it bigger?
Worker turned journalist working at Kotaku named
What is going on here?
a former sex worker turned journalist working at Kotaku named ALyssa
Boom.
Mercante sucks more.
So you're about to hear it in there, but she was an early Grum supporter, and if you aren't part of the solution, you're part of the. Oh yeah. Now they've turned against several other people because you're not saying the message. So this video was deleted by Smash JT, but I have been able to access it. So let's see what he has to say, because ALyssa brings this up, or ALyssa's counsel brings this video up in particular, inclusive to the sucking dick allegations.
A former sex worker turned journalist working at Kotaku named ALyssa Mercante sucks more at journalism than she did sucking dicks, I would imagine, because she's really...
So that's a pretty insane statement. I mean, I want to say that that's a joke, like he's trying to make a joke there, but it just kind of falls flat. You know what I mean? This is a pretty terrible comment.
bad at being a journalist. Let's dive into the latest turn of events here, where ALyssa Mercante is so hell-bent on twisting a narrative towards her direction that she is completely trashing a CEO that spoke to her about
Negative charisma. Yeah, Smash isn't exactly the most charismatic guy, and unfortunately with this video, oh, I can, thank God. Unfortunately, the only way I can listen to Smash is by myself at 2x speed. On this, I can only listen at half.
a situation trying to resolve a problem. It's actually made it worse. JT. Hit the subscribe, give me a like, and check out SmashJT.com for the full article, links, references, and screenshots that most likely will be eventually deleted by all these people because it's a bad look all around. First off, Alex K from Critivo is the guy in charge of making Farm Folks. You know, that game that made that innocent tweet with the bouncing boobs? Yeah, not a big deal.
Oh, yeah. So not a lot of this we need to watch if you've watched it before. There was a bouncing boobs tweet. The left got mad at it. He made an apology, and then the right got mad, right? So that's pretty much the crux of it. But the important part is what she's trying to say right here.
A sex worker turned journalist working at Kotaku named ALyssa Mercante sucks more at journalism than she did sucking dicks, I would imagine, because she's really bad at being a journalist.
I mean, this video, guess why the CEO went to talk to Kotaku? Yeah, well, see, I heard that, or even watching this article, and I saw the back and forth between her and the journalist. I don't necessarily... I can see it from the journalist's point of view, where he wasn't trying to make that point, but he said it a certain way. Him talking about deleting tweets is very funny in hindsight. Yeah, absolutely, Kimoji. It's why did he need to delete this? Was there a reason? But yeah, very much so. There seemed to be a snakiness to it. Like he said something. There's a translation barrier. He was trying to change what he said there, and ALyssa was not being very forthcoming. But all in all, that's not... Yes, you can complain about it, and I think Smash is okay to criticize her on that side. That is an absolute... That's an absolute crazy pause there. Let's... But what was I saying? With the content of that, it was it seemed a little disingenuous on Alyssa's side. But how she does her journalism and how she does her journalism, that just means that that guy or others may not do an interview with her again if it gets into the space. So she'll just deal with it. And there's nothing wrong, like I said, there's nothing wrong with criticizing her about it in those sections. You can even make a joke about her being a sex riddled... I don't know. I don't have anything funny to say at this point, right? But you can make fun of some of those things and it'd be funny at that side. But this is what she's trying to lay the ground defense for, right? She's trying to lay that ground defense that the defamation suit is there. I think it's funny though that I'm pretty sure that video came out even before the tweet, right? The tweet that she sent out saying, "I guess I sucked dick," or "I sucked dick." So we've never really found the evidence other than she said she's a cam girl and a sex worker. But at the same time, to me, that falls under freedom of speech. I don't care. Everything else, though, the under the harassment is where I think the real meat of it is. I think that's where we can get to actually a conversation about, well, what is too much? What makes someone responsible for their audience? Which I think is going to be the big crux of this case, right? How much, because I do have a belief. I know Simon and others who probably aren't here are going to have a disagreement with me that content creators are not responsible for their audience in the vast majority of cases. Creators in general, public figures, things like that, are not responsible for their audience. Because just because I talk about a figure in any kind of negative light or negative way, that doesn't, like, you put it in, if I became more prominent and someone in my Discord or something like that went and did something horrendous and tried to like dox another creator, then is it my fault that they did that? In that, in one situation, I don't think so. I would not do what Smash did and do a non-apology. I condemn that kind of activity hands down. You'll never hear me agree with or say that it's funny that someone's doxing somebody for that information, or, as the lolcow enthusiast would say, touching the poo in that case. Criticize who you want to criticize, and just don't be fucking gay. Don't be dumb and go out there and actively harass people. Like, while my position is threats on the internet, and if anyone has watched me on X, I will go after people who will send one death threat in a tweet and pretend like they're the victim. While I have that agreement that death threats individually, without any serious nature to that, are constitutionally legal, that doesn't mean I condone going out and doing it, right? If you feel the need to go out and send death threats to somebody, you're a basement dwelling waste of life. That's the best way I can put it. Now, I mean, argue with people, make fun of people. I'm all for that. That can be funny. That can be interesting. Calling Smash JT a a God, I can't even think of any. I'm trying to think of something original and not what I tweeted. Just calling him a retard, something as simple like that, or other things is completely okay, because, I mean, look at this face. Oh, now you're not going to come up, huh? Now you're not going to come up. Boom, boom, boom. What the heck? No, I don't want the live streaming one. God, I hate this thing sometimes. But either way, killed the joke, killed the moment. But I think that CEO went on hypnotic after some of Grum's followers told him to talk to Grum's evidence in Discord. All right, let's take a look at that. I'll pad out time a little bit because that we went over that case quickly. Why did that open up? Boom, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, boom. Why is my window capture acting like? There we go. All right, where's Discord? Why are you not in here? Select capture. That's not it. That's not it. There we go. There we go. So, yeah, Alex Kalishnikov. My goal is to express myself and my vision. I'm happy to share it with anyone interested in it. It's true. Seems like we're used as tools to combat movements, and I'm happy to take steps to clarify our intentions with everything we do. So this right here, this statement, I think is probably how most game developers feel. Like the anti-woke gets so mad when like a game developer doesn't want to be involved in their fucking message or something like that, that they start going after them. But none of these people want to be involved in this culture war bullshit. I'm a sycophant that loves to jump in the fucking mud with these retards and fucking play stupid games. So how about a conversation with Grums then? I would bet he would be willing to have a conversation with you in good faith. You already talked with Kotaku and saw how that went. They've been extremely unfair to some gamers and misrepresented them. Now you're experiencing what we have. I have no problem with talking to people. I think it's important as long as it's fair and words are not twisted. I recommended a direct private conversation with @Grums. He will at least give you a perspective that many customers have about the relationship between game developers and game journalists. There is a combo worth having about who is Hat Glasses. CM and consultant firms. So pretty direct lefty or anti-wokey statements. I would argue many customers. If you look at the anti-woke numbers, they are looking pretty low. All right, boop. I'm gonna keep that there in case I need it. But that's kind of the thing that's going on with the ALyssa case. We've seen where he's actually come out and said on a video, you do think the CEO talked to Grums? I mean, it's very possible. You have that other game dev guy who's making a game that I've actually been looking forward to. I forget what it was named, who's just gone completely anti-woke on it. And I wish he would just make his game. But I guess everyone has a point, even if his points are fucking retarded. Oh, holy shit. Speaking of people are already going after Grums. Boop. Boom. I like this person, Sean Goss, making the video game. Two Stamp Studios developing Here Tell of Hauntings. I'm interested in this game. Pretty telling, right? Oh, we don't block, but I can guarantee you that there's a ton of people that he blocks just because Arthur. It is Arthur. Yeah. Yeah. I've been looking forward to that game for a while. I love those type of roguelike, like it's a Dwarf Fortress style game, in that kind of persistent world. So I'm actually super, super stoked for the game. I think he's doing a lot of good stuff with it. I just don't know why he ran to the anti-woke. Like, it's the same thing as the Lords of the Fallen guy. They've ran to the anti-woke because I don't know, their game isn't doing well or something like that, or they've had bad experiences with wokies, which, that can completely happen. I get it. There are problems with the same kind of activism in gaming as well. I'm more concerned about changing of existing IPs to fit narratives than I am about people making their own games. You know what I mean? And I don't even care if the game fails. I don't care. I don't need to go touting that insert game with black guy failed. right? Or didn't fail in a lot of cases. But I think I'm going to call it early today. I'm going to go through that other document and make sure I don't have any more names, uh, or make sure all the names that I need are blacked out. And then we'll go through that one and the last couple of PDFs, the letters and stuff like that. And then that'll be the end of the ALyssa Mercante's case until we get to discovery. So I want to get back to watching some content videos to start A-logging a little bit of the anti-wokers, make little pieces on those. But yep, we're going to call it for tonight. And I will see y'all Friday for the next section of it. Good night, Vincent. Good night, you young buck. And I will see the rest of y'all later, guys.